Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have a little bit more details on the upcoming PlayStation 5 Pro. Now, I just always want to remind you guys before we fully dive into these videos, it is always kind of one of those more of like, still in the rumor, still in like the internals are slowly being leaked, kind of speculation keeps on growing and growing and growing, and it's still kind of always funny because at this point, a lot of folks are still just trying to go and find and get and buy the PlayStation, but as always, when it comes to these big companies, Sony, Microsoft, Switches, whatever it is, a lot of them are always perpetually working on the next system too as well, and although it may still take another 1, 2, 3 years for them to come out, realistically we are a year and a half in the life cycle, and typically for most other previous consoles, we do see something throughout like the 3 to 4 to 5 year mark. So funny enough, although the whole just everything has been so hard to find, we are slowly to the point where we actually might start seeing a lot more PlayStation 5 leaks too as well. So a lot of stuff to go talk about, a lot of intriguing things coming on out, and to also talk about like what the main goals of the PlayStation 5 are, what the internals are going to be, and a few other little various things kind of tied on out too as well. So let's go and talk about it. As well, if any of you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. We have the Amazon links down below for the PS5 Digital Console Controller if you guys want to go check and see for the day, or warehouse consoles, whatever. Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We got the Webull and Coinbase down below if you guys want to sign up and get that free affiliate money. And of course, let's go diving into the video itself. So, as I mentioned, PlayStation 5 once again is kind of in this like usual loop where every few weeks or every few months we kind of see a little bit more PlayStation 5 Pro leakage. And as I mentioned, we're going to be seeing some of that in the near future. Maybe not like tomorrow, but probably throughout the next maybe I'd say year or so, we'll see a lot more rumors, a lot more internal leaks, and especially I would say for the Xbox Series S, which has also been kind of rumored to be coming out in the near future too as well. Now, once again, near future is kind of subjunctive because I would probably say within the next year and a half, we'll see a lot more of it. Some people would be like, well, that's still far away. But some people like me I've had my console for a while, and other folks too as well. And at this point, although do we really need a PS5 Pro? Not really, but at some point, people might start making it. I feel like nowadays the next level is going to be a lot of the multi-tier level too as well, with how good the Xbox Series S has been doing, along with the Xbox Series X. So at this point, I want to also mind just kind of assuming they'll all be doing similar functions. Same with the Switch and Switch OLED and Switch Lite altogether. So we actually have quite a few articles that have been kind of bouncing around throughout these past few days. This one, especially, and also a YouTube video that kind of popped on off a lot, is on the PlayStation 5 Pro, with the first details and release window now potentially revealed. Now, once again, to take everything with a grain of salt, and I'm sure a lot of you guys could also maybe assume a lot of the stuff too as well, but let's go and talk about it. Let me go chime in my thoughts and go from there. So start off here from the comic book, Gamp by myself. The PlayStation 5 Pro is ready in the works. According to the new rumor, between the global microchip shortage, ongoing shipping crisis, and turbulent world economy, it has been challenging for Sony to manufacture and ship the PS5 consoles, which has also been very true as well, which is why it's also kind of somewhat strange to see some of these consoles want to go push for a Pro version, but at the same time, if people are making them, at the same time, if people would buy them, at the same time, if you basically have to use a secondary chipset, it's so hard to say, set. But when it comes to that stuff, if you could say like have a 5 nanometer and then a 4 nanometer right into it, well, they still may be hard to go and find, and they might be sought after. Ideally, if you can kind of mid-max it, it might be better for that. Now, those are kind of just random numbers thrown out in, random nanometers themselves, but kind of a good example is probably more on the, say, Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X, where the Xbox Series X actually uses different internals, and the Xbox Series S uses more sought after, or less sought after, and easier mass-produced internals too as well. So with all of this put together, it does make sense, and as of recently, there's been a lot more special like attention towards the Xbox Series for just being able to produce more. So it'd make a lot of sense too as well to have a PS5 Pro, but also in combination with a normal PlayStation 5s too, and maybe a more of a discounted price in the next 1 or 2 years. As a result, it has been challenging now, obviously, to go buy the PS5, especially all digital PS4, $500 PS5 digital, which also maybe is urban legend. But due to the set of circumstances, many have also been assuming a revision in the PS5 in the vein of a PS4 Pro isn't going to happen, at least anytime soon, and the suspicion may be accurate, but according to a new rumor, it's actually not. And I just also want to reiterate again, a lot of these big tech companies can totally do this. Like a lot of the times, think maybe say for the even Steam Deck, where they have multiple different price points with multiple different internals, which at the end of the day would make a lot of sense, mainly because like if people have different price points, some folks are willing to spend more money, some people just want to go have the bare minimum, and some people just want to play games. Like for me, I'm more of a graphics guy, so if I would rather go pay for the extra graphics and frames, especially when it comes to competitive games. Some folks maybe don't mind. Maybe someone's more of a single player game and they don't really care about the frames, they don't care about the performance, they just want to make sure the game can actually be ran and also is somewhat stable. So they don't care if it's 30 FPS, they don't care if it's 60. I'm someone who wants to have the higher FPS because if I'm ever playing a better, like a competitive game, think Apex, Overwatch, CSGO, whatever it is, League of Legends, especially as I'm a PC gamer, it makes a lot of sense. So basically, this actually funny enough, we had a YouTuber, Red Gaming Tech, actually relayed up some more words when it comes to Sony, and that Sony is aiming to release the PS5 Pro by the end of 2023. But a release in 2024 is certainly on the table. Now, I always kind of hate whenever, like, no hate, obviously, but I always kind of hate whenever people go and mention that because it is kind of a big window. Like, at that point, that's literally 2 years away, and we're also only in early 2022. So that would also kind of give us a really big window of, like, essentially 3 years when it comes to guessing. Like, I could probably go and say that too as well, or do the same exact predictions for, say, the Xbox Series X Pro or the next, like, Xbox Series S Pro, and I'd probably be right just because it's such a big window. Now, of course, this is more just information on it. So accompanying this claim, it's also revealed that the console will be aiming to bring in 2.5x performance in ray tracing. It will be better suited for gaming with the upcoming PlayStation VR 2. So let's go talk about that a little bit too as well. Once again, know that some of these comments are kind of on the obvious side, but basically the kind of more claim on the 2.5x performance boost, especially for ray tracing, is a little bit more on the intriguing side to me. Now, obviously, it'll be slightly better internals if you guys want to imagine a PS5 Pro. Just have to kind of maybe use as a reference for the PS4 to PS4 Pro. You'd probably expect a slightly better internal if they can, a slightly better CPU if they can, maybe slightly better heat sink as well to basically tone down on the internal heat, which will allow it to, like, run a little bit better, run a little bit more smoother, be more efficient, all of that type of good stuff. And as well, possibly, we've also seen things like Slims where it kind of tones down and makes it a little bit smaller. But I would probably say, at least for this console generation, they probably would want to go for a bigger console in terms of, like, better internal specs, better GPUs, to somewhat kind of keep up with pace with PC gaming. So I do kind of think nowadays a Pro version will be a lot more consistent, especially in comparison to how it was back in the day. But a 2.5x performance increase, especially for a PS5 Pro, would be very, very good. Like, especially when it comes to ray tracing, because ray tracing is slowly becoming massively involved when it comes to the overall world of games. So think more on, like, say, the overall ecosystem. So think water, think lights, think other various aspects, think, like, animations. All that stuff looks way better and performs way better on a good ray tracing console. So if it's a little bit more on the efficient side and also maybe has more of a specific, say, upgrade, if you guys maybe saw, we also made a few comments on the AMD internal upgrades too as well as of yesterday. So if you guys want to, the internals would make a lot of sense. We're seeing a lot more improvements for both, like, the ray tracing side and other various, like, I guess, map upgrades. So these words are probably hard to go and kind of go through easily with, I guess, my train of thought. But basically, just any internals are great, any more efficiencies are great, and overall, just any more loading is always fantastic. And as well, obviously, the PlayStation VR 2, which has still not been fully announced, although it will be coming out in the near future, like more so release date has not been fully announced. It'll probably make a lot of sense too as well to be able to go optimize the PSVR 2 and kind of use that as a double whammy for people to upgrade their PlayStation 5s if they had the base edition, as well as also they just have a chance to go and also splurge out for the PSVR 2. Kind of a double whammy. You could probably go make an extra $1,000 of Sony for those double whammies, and also have people still in your gaming ecosystem, which would make a lot of sense. And as well, too, on top of this, they also did go and dive into the more so technical side of the console. And for a good example for this one, it's also apparently using the PlayStation 5, basically for that, is for the TSMC's 5 nanometer process too as well. So a lot of stuff is kind of intriguing more in that one because, as you guys know, the nanometer production, as well as with TSMC, is always on the intriguing side because TSMC is probably the most in-depth and also most sought-after semiconductor manufacturer. So it'd probably actually be a really big win if they do have their own proper, I guess, like filler, because as you guys know, Sony is trying their best to go make their own proper semiconductor factory itself in the near future. So I guess as that's being made, having a chance to go utilize TSM's like kind of more advanced technology to also go make everything inside the internal console for the PlayStation 5 Pro just a little bit better, and a little bit more smoother, what I think is, in my mind, a pretty big thumbs on up. So right now, it looks like the big difference in basically what they're seeing for the PS5 Pro and PS5 is going to be more so on graphical department, which I think a lot of you guys would agree. The better the loading, the faster the loading, and the nicer the graphics, and more in tune with, like, say, more water features, more shadows, more, like, say, cloud, thunder, whatever it is, more lighting, whatever you want to go and imagine in it, is a fantastic, fantastic thing, because that basically doesn't let the console go and be held back, which is always very nice. And as well, also, just we're probably assuming a slightly better internal based on improving the ray tracing capability capabilities too as well. And it also makes a lot of sense too because ray tracing and other various AMD technology is essentially how we can kind of make all this stuff put together and make it great. So like, this is basically as I mentioned on our video yesterday, where AMD itself, if they're going and making the update, but they're also making stuff for the consoles, it basically will be a lot more efficient with consoles in mind. So there's a lot of kind of cool stuff, although it's still in the leaks. Although I do like talking about this type of stuff. A lot of this stuff is kind of like, yeah, we'd probably expect that, but seeing some more stuff on the TSM internals, their contracts with that, if that's going to happen, as well as just the overall fun idea, I guess, to talk about the future. I just figured I wanted to make a video on this one too as well. So thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for the PS5 digital console controller. Twitter and Twitch stream as well, link down below. Sign up for that Weeble, sign up for that Coinbase, and also check out that Twitter link down below for the giveaway itself. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. You guys are all fantastic, and I'll see you guys up on the next one. Love you guys.